God. Today's episode is amazing because I'm catching up with a dear old friend of mine right before your very eyes. Today, here he is, Stevie Blue Eyes here for the hang.
Hey, what's up?
And I just wanted to go ahead and bring you in so that it wasn't awkward during your intro. How long have we known each other? Because
It's been a minute. Like when I first moved to LA in 2015, and you were like one of the first people I met.
one of the first comics I met was this
Yeah.
guy. You're killing the game now. You travel all around doing stand-up. You've now diverted into another career path also.
Yeah. Pandemics, they have you doing weird things.
Hey, we're all there. We're all there. So I feel like your transition into porn was before pandemic, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just use that as an excuse. It was a solid 8 months before before there was any bat viruses out there. It's like I can just, but like in the grand scheme of things, you can just kind of. It worked out perfectly because the touring, everything stopped.
Yeah.
So it's like I was one of those feature comics who wasn't like selling out headlining places. So it's like I depended on road stuff, and when that went down, it was just like if I didn't have the porn things, I don't know what I'd do. I mean, I know, but I don't want to say. But I don't want to, like.
You don't want to go back to jail.
Like I would, but I would have no other choice because, like, it's really crazy. It's so crazy.
Y'all, Stevie Blue Eyes was one of my very first guests on my old podcast, Two Girls, One Guy.
When you lived in that house that you got kicked out of.
In the valley.
They knocked it down.
Yep. They bought me out, as it happens here in LA. And now I live on a loud-ass alley. So sorry if you can hear that garbage truck in the background.
I just remember
keeping it real profesh here.
We met at the Haha when we were like such lost puppies then. It was just like a crew of open micers hanging out at the Haha.
Everybody needs to start at the Haha. That is you paying your dues, starting at the Haha Cafe.
Drinking to excess, just like every day, just like, oh well, we're doing it. We paid $5 for 5 minutes. I guess I deserve a drink now.
Listen, if you're gonna be waiting, sometimes y'all legit 4 or 5 hours. I mean, I hosted the Sunday night mic. The Sunday night mic.
Oh, you hosted it, right?
Yes,
you hosted one. Oh shit.
So funny thing about hosting is you can't leave till that bitch is over. Yeah. So every comic I saw. But this is what's great. Whenever you're a host, it pushes you to accelerate faster because you can't write the same jokes every week because it's my same crowd coming in and they don't want to if I go on with the same shit, they're going to go out and get a beer and I'm going to lose everybody.
Yeah.
So I feel like that gig in a way, like as painful as it was, like some Sundays I would just be like, oh, I don't want to go. And I would wait tables before. I would have like a brunch gig that I'd been doing since, 9 a.m. and then go do that.
Working at like a Mexican place or something.
Yeah, down the road, Casina Condesa, shout out. Not there anymore, but so I feel like that made us better because it's comedy school. It's like you're going and going. That's like you touring so early with Callen and those guys. I mean, you had to get good quick.
I just lied. They're like, you got 20 minutes to feature. I was like, of course I do. No, you were with me the first weekend.
Best story ever. That. Okay, so we had this great gig where I'm lucky enough to be hosting. This one's featuring, and Bryan Callen'S is the headliner. And this is the second weekend of Levity Live. Like, it is brand new. I remember the owners were there, like the corporate, improv people were all there.
The pressure was on like 1,000% because literally the corporate guys who run the improvs all around the country were like, we're opening this one this weekend. We're coming to see, like people were dying to see this show this weekend. And then
I remember like everybody, when we got there early, because Stevie and I get there early on time and the place is already packed. And these people are like dressed up. They're like
Yeah.
eating dinner. I mean, in Oxnard, people go out. It's not like in LA. Like people make a night of comedy. You know, they're having drinks, they're having dinner. So the place was already packed before you even start. Callen'S nowhere to be found, y'all. He is the headliner. And he's like stuck on set. And that's what it was. They had a longer shooting day. And you know how it is, or you don't. But whenever you're on a set, you don't have a say of when you go. It's like, sorry. So he's like booking it down the 101, like probably flying to get there.
And they start the show
calling Stevie and being like, hey, tell him almost there. And these people come back and they're like, the people that worked at the club, they're like, all right, well, okay, I guess you'll need to do, what did they tell me? They're like, because I was supposed to do 10 and now they're like, you're going to do 15 and you were supposed to do 20 and they're like, hey, can you do 30? And both of us are like, oh, yeah. Like, we're just
because we're professionals, clearly.
And the guy walks out of the green room, the door shuts, and we're like, holy shit. We're like on our phones. I'm looking for jokes. I'm listening to old recordings from the fucking ha-ha, trying to pull up something. Like, that was crazy.
And
but you know what?
I didn't have 30 minutes. Like, I literally was pushing it to get to the 20 to be like I could feature. Like I had like 18-ish and I was like I could fluff it, and then they're like, oh yeah, just go another 10. Which to
it literally got to the point where I was signaling you. Like I was going out into the crowd and being like
he's not
still
here.
Not here. Still not here. Like keep it going. And then finally I get to come up and give you the signal like we're good. And then
I was like, get me. I remember at one point looking down, just being, and the table had like 10 pieces of cake on it, and I just remember talking about cake for a couple minutes, being like, "Oh, look at this!"
You killed it. Like, all the improv guys came back there and sucked your dick after.
They were
not really easy LA Times. We don't need an article circulating.
Right? But they were very supportive. They were like, "Well, actually, I can't go to Canada."
They were like, "We're going to change JFL for you."
Like, we'll bring Just for Laughs to America. I was like, "Oh, that's nice." And never happened. Fucking LA. Go figure.
That's that classic Hollywood showbiz. Yeah, kid, we're gonna move the festival down here for you. I'm the mayor of Hollywood, Joe Improv.
that was like the weekend. That was the weekend that like started, because then from there I started touring with Callen nonstop. I mean, we toured every 2-3 times a month. We were on the road the next fucking 3 years, and it all started at Levity.
But it really all started right whenever you were a fan of his. You and I have a similar thing where we got to meet the comic that we were a fan of and then open for them, which is so surreal.
Friends. I know that doesn't. It's weird. It happened to me and you, but like that doesn't happen to anybody ever. Like you're a fan of somebody.
Listening in Ohio right now, just calm down.
They're like, oh, I'll go do it, but like
start DMing Stevie about it.
Like, we went to LA with this pipe dream. We were just struggling comedians. We had comics who we looked up to, and then we met them and then became like oddly best friends.
But you could have manifested your thing with those guys listening from jail, right? Didn't you tell me that?
Yeah, I started listening to The Fighter and the Kid right when I got out of jail, and they gave me this little thing that could pick up podcasts and stuff. It was like in the halfway house. It was this little like receptive. I wouldn't even call it an MP3 player, because it like could just like pick up random radio transmissions, and then you could like search for podcasts on it. So I don't even know what it was, but that's where I first heard
Rogan. Truckers, CB radios, and The Fighter and the Kid. Perfect.
So it was like
that's all you need.
I picked up Rogan's podcast, and Brendan and Bryan were on a Rogan podcast, and then they had their own, and it just like spiraled into this whole thing where like years later I'm with all of them, just like, how in the fuck did this
because happen? You manifested it, dude. Because whenever you think about something and dream about it, and you match it with the work, I'm not saying you sit around and just the secret your way.
Yeah, people think we didn't do anything either. That's what's funny.
We're talking about these haha open mics, y'all. These 4 or 5 hour mics. That's no bullshit. Like that's a grind.
It was like, in the thing with the haha open mic, to go back to that, like it would start at 5 in the afternoon in LA. So the sun is beaming. It's a beautiful day. you open the doors to this place and it's a dungeon. Like you go in there and you're not seeing the sun again. Like
And
you're
it
gonna open that
always
thing.
smells the exact same.
It would smell you, and then the open mic was all the way in the back, so you're just going deeper and deeper into this fucking layer, and then you're just sitting in this, go through another set of doors, so you're in even a darker area, and you're sitting in the pitch black for hours.
I never, you know what's so bad about that? Like, I hosted that goddamn mic for so long.
You did.
All I wanted to do was be put on a weekend show. Hello, Jack Jr. Is that still not going to happen? 5 years into my career, I'm performing at the Comedy Store in the Hollywood Improv main stage, but I still can't get that Friday night.
I don't even think I ever go. I think I did a couple workout Wednesdays, and I was like, all right, I'm
oh yeah, I got that.
I got a workout Wednesday. I never got a weekend there. Still, I'm like, all right.
One day.
It's so crazy.
What do you think is the craziest venue that you've played with those guys? Because you've shared some photos, and I'm just like, oh.
The one in Chicago for Callen'S special, we did Thalia Hall, I think it's called, and it's just, I mean, it was like everything you think you want, like, because you know how it is, you normally walk out on the stage and it's like you got a spotlight on you, and it's just like, you know, it's still amazing no matter where you are, but like this was so exceptionally different that like you walked out and there was all these lights like zooming around, like cameras were whizzing on like tracks by you, like the crowd was, and it was just like, oh shit, like this is a fucking experience.
It was a big night.
But then once for like 30, not even 30, 20 seconds, you're probably in this little like holy shit mode. But the second you start getting into your material, it's the same as being at the fucking haha. You know, it's just, the room's dark. It's just you just do the thing that you know you can do. And it's like, it's funny. It's like the initial shock of it. It doesn't, I mean, I've never done like stadiums.
What's the biggest theater that you guys did? That Boston Wilbur thing was pretty big too, right?
Yeah, Wilbur's big. Wilbur's probably one of the biggest. Well, because like after Wilbur, you got to do like fucking arena shit, basically. Yeah. So like that's probably one of the biggest.
Crazy.
But like at the end of the day,
it is a different thing too, because it's a different rhythm, right? Like you have to pause longer because it's like a rolling laughter, thousands of people instead of hundreds.
I would rather do clubs if I could choose. Like I just like clubs. I like being right in front of people and not having to like, if some people don't like it, you can just like get over it or like address it. But like if you're in a giant theater and you can feel a little pull from somewhere,
there's no crowd work.
Yeah, there's no, you just gotta, you just go on.
That doesn't work at the Wilbur.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I understand, like, because you make way more money doing theater. So like you got to get to the theater level. But I understand now why people go back, like Kevin Hart will do theaters and spots. Rogan still does theaters, or like even spots at the Comedy Stores. It's like,
oh yeah,
you can't get that feeling when it's just like this giant room. It's cool, it's nerve-wracking, but it's like, I don't know, there's something you missed from it.
Are you not nervous at all about all this comedy exodus? Because you're coming to town. You know, a lot of people are leaving town.
Well, I was in Vegas. So I was in Las Vegas doing comedy stuff out there. It was, I mean, I was having a great time. I mean, everything was cool, but like once the strip shut down and everything, it's just, I was going crazy.
What is it like right now? Is it just apocalyptic, just so like Vanilla boring. Sky?
Yeah, that's why, because it's basically like you get rocked, like island fever or whatever they call it, when you're like trapped in an island, but it's just like being, instead of ocean, it's desert. Because like
it's in actual islands on the strip. It's the only thing open, and you just go and get the cheeseburger and the shake every day, and you're like, fuck this islands.
I would be, because I was in Henderson, so I was like up on like the hill, and I could see everything from my.
That's actually better, because Henderson's. Do you have like green?
Oh yeah. I mean,
desert?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's all landscaped. Like it looks like a resort. But when you just realize that like there's nothing in any direction for hundreds of miles but sand, and you just like the whole shit, like the shine of the place wears off so quick. I couldn't wait to get out of there. Everybody's in California. I was like, get me to California.
Is there really no people, or there's some places that are open?
There's the casinos are open, but how it is, it's like they have limited capacity, and then all the bars and stuff are limited. So it's like you walk in there and it's just people. It's so you thought it was depressing before in a casino. Like you walk in there now, and in half capacity, it's like just people spread out so far sitting there. You can just see everybody's torment.
Are they smoking through their mask?
I went down there one time. I
picture grannies smoking at slot machines. Like, what's that like now?
I went down there one time during the whole pandemic because they had them closed, I think, April to June. And then I went, I think, once in June, just like see what it was like. And I was like, dude, get me the fuck out of here. I was like, I can't do this. This is depressing.
Well, we're glad. We're glad to have you back.
So
it freaks me out whenever people are moving away. Like Rogan's leaving.
Yeah,
the other day, Joey Diaz said on his podcast he's leaving. I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
It's just like
the mass exodus of comedy.
If you can't do comedy in LA, like if the Comedy Store is closed down, the Improv's, everything, like why do you have to be there? Besides to do each other's podcasts, which you can do over Zoom now. It's like, it's what, like, break it down for me why you have to be in Hollywood. Like, you really don't. Like, that's why I didn't want to move to Hollywood. I wanted to be near the water and chilling and not
I'm so wishing for that right now.
Area. Like, I can literally just go down and be like, I'm going to get a coffee next to the pier in the sand now.
That's amazing.
Just go do it. It's so nice.
I just was so excited that I finally got a studio apartment that's like right behind the Hollywood Improv, which is closed as fuck right now. I'm like, I can bike to the Comedy Store. Like that was gonna be my thing. Nope.
And now,
no, actually, the Comedy Store is open if you want to go get some chicken tenders and a draft beer. Look, we've been hanging out. It's like anything to be around comics.
Are there like comics hanging out there though? I'll have to drop by one night.
Listen, the diehards, we're not going anywhere. Y'all can all fucking move back home. I'm going to be at the first potluck that is usually 400 comics. That's going to be like 10.
I know. Do you think do you think there's more people getting into comedy or less? Or like, how does this even shake out after?
I feel like a lot of people rethought everything and left.
I think they were like, comedy was a mistake. Like this was a problem, and like it's like if you look at the trajectory of a comedy career and like what you have to, it's like the dumbest plan ever. It's like, all right, you're just gonna fluff around for 10 years, and then there's a 1% chance you might make it, and then.
But I don't even care because I already fluffed around for 10 years.
I know. I already
found
did the
comedy.
fluffing, so I'm in it now.
Now you are actually fluffing. No.
I know. Now I'm not.
You're not. You're the star. You're not fluffing.
I'm the star of the show. My own little weird show, but.
So you said you do have a video coming out that you want to promote.
Yeah, we got a video coming out tomorrow on Brazzers, and it's our first one under our Brazzers contract. So there'll be more.
Amazing.
This is the first one.
This is the first of like a series. Is it like a 12
I think
episode
this is like a
deal?
Like you get.
Oh, nice. Well, as long as you and your girl are together.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like we could break up at this point. Like, we're still doing the thing, right? It's like friends with benefits and financial stability.
She's like, oh yeah, we're still gonna fuck.
I'm
not giving that dick up.
Like, it's very the whole
I've
thing.
Seen what you're working with. Look, if anybody else wants to, it's there on your screen. We're gonna put the link up there.
Yeah, right.
Because your lady is, give her a plug too. We'll flash her up there. She's gorgeous.
Nicole Aniston. She's one of the #1 porn stars in the world.
I'm sure a lot of y'all know her already.
Yeah,
Got a lot of dude fans.
It's funny how we met because like I was a fan of hers, admirer for years. And then like
this is what you do. Your brain is so powerful that if you love somebody, you actually do just attract that person. That is funny though.
It happened with Callen and Brendan and Rogan and all them, and it happened with my chick too. Because like I literally just slid in her DMs like 4 years ago, and like for some reason she answered me, and then from there we talked.
For some reason, okay. Well, everybody just take a look at Stevie Blue Eyes right now. If this man is sliding into your DMs. Look, dude or girl or famous comedian, apparently, you're answering.
they were funny, good, thoughtful DMs. Because if I'm like trying to fuck you, I'm the funniest dude in the world. If I have like that goal, and
some
so
might
like
call you a professional.
I think I'm a professional. But here's the thing: I slid in her DMs like 4 years ago, and we talked not every day, but every week for like 3 years, and never hooked up. We never hooked up. We'd meet for lunch, we'd meet for dinners, but like months in between. But we'd still be talking.
Is that the move with a porn star? Because she's so used to everybody just thinking they can
I
fuck
think
right
that was
away,
it.
probably. And Stevie Blue Eyes comes in and he's like, no, I want to get to know you, girl.
Like, and she would just be like, I will get you an Uber down to my house right now. Like, what is going on? But the thing is, I always was seeing people or like had girlfriends at the time. So it was like, it looked like I was playing hard to get, but it was just kind of like, super in a relationship. You know,
you were like
yeah, like I always had girlfriends.
You would really girlfriend up too, like with the Instagram photos. You go all out. Like most comedians, they don't post and blow up their spot.
I post everything.
And Stevie's a sweetie. Like he'll be like, this is my girl, I love her so much, and then he doesn't give a fuck. But do you take I've never noticed, do you take those photos down whenever you break up with these girls?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah,
because it gets to the point where like if you followed me long enough, it's just now it's like another one. Like,
another one.
Surprise. Surprise. But like this one's been like a year. Like it's been like a year because we didn't hook up. So we hooked up for the first time last August. It was about a year ago. But that was 3 years before that. It was just scattered little dates and this and that. And
so
then
this is a new relationship still.
Yeah, this is like new. So we were.
So this could tank, ladies. Don't get your heart broken yet.
We were in the whole like, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just kind of like, yeah, well, we finally hooked up and we've been friends. And then like at that exact moment, all her contracts were up. She had a contract with Pornhub, but like Bang Bros, all these things. So she was like, I don't want to shoot like studio porn anymore. She was like, I want to do the OnlyFans and just have somebody to fuck me like on the OnlyFans. And I was like, and I wasn't even like that down for it. I was like, I don't know. But then like we did
what, you're scared you're going to be gun shy?
No, I was just like, I had other stuff going on because like before
Were you scared it was going to affect comedy?
Not even that.
Comedy's like the one career, it doesn't fucking matter. Like comedy, it actually helps.
It's gonna help my comedy. I was like, this will help my comedy. But like I was still in Vegas and I had just moved there and I was just like getting other shit figured out. It was just so at the time, and then we ended up just doing one video and it fucking went and then just made all this.
Look at her.
Made all this money.
And sorry.
Thanks, babe.
And your piece.
I saw the money it made.
You got a real piece on them.
The money that shit makes on OnlyFans is insane. So
just her OnlyFans, meaning she doesn't have to split this with agents and bullshit and that. Yes, see, that is an independent woman right there.
And so the OnlyFans blew up, and then Brazzers has now launched a thing that's kind of like an OnlyFans, because right now they're only shooting with quarantined couples. So like it's not just like random shoots and this and that. Like they have to be like, all right, you guys are together, you've been together.
It's like what 90 Day Fiance is doing, but they're doing it with porn.
Yeah, it's like
they're like, we'll send you the equipment.
So there's not that many of them. There's only like, I mean, like a handful of people doing porn stuff right now.
Oh,
like,
you guys are the stars.
So we're like locking
You're the
down the market.
Piece.
Yeah. Like I went from a year ago being like, I don't know, to now like we have the market cornered. Like we're doing stuff all the time. Shot a movie 2 days ago. It's just. So
is that part of why I went to Newport Beach too? Like, are we going to see this fabulous apartment in your Brazzers?
Oh yeah, yeah. We actually, the one, so she lives down close to San Diego. So she's like 45 minutes from me. So we'll shoot at her place or here. So like back and forth.
I cannot wait to see y'all fuck all over that apartment.
Switch up the scenery. But the one that's coming out tomorrow was at her house. She's got a great.
But she's not, you're not living together. So see, that's healthy. No. You're a new, you're a year in.
It's too much.
Let me tell you, this quarantine's hard. You know, get together, meet up, do some porn.
How perfect of a relationship is that? Like, meet up twice a week, do porn, make a ton of money, and then be like, all right, see ya in a week.
What did you do in a past life that rewards you and affords you this one? That is what I want to know. Like, were you a Buddhist monk? Like, were you just a saint of some kind in a former? Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
I feel like I'm living in a simulation.
You
like,
fall head over fist, like into just the best things, but you're a good dude.
It's weird.
Even though you are a felon.
I know. I'm multiple
Again,
felonies.
two Girls, One Guy podcast if you want to go listen to that whole story. I wasn't going to make you go down your whole prison story because this is what I did want to get to today. I want you to tell all the fans how you beat the coronavirus.
Oh, yeah. I know. I forgot that happened. That sounds
because
weird.
I think we need to hear some positivity. We're hearing about deaths. We're hearing about numbers spiking. This man sitting before you beat this thing. So tell us what you did, Stevie.
So this is what happened. So my whole crew decided to go do a bunch of shows in, where did we go? We went to Houston, Texas. Then we went to Phoenix. Then we went back to Texas to San Antonio.
San Antonio is where the virus lives.
But what happened was,
swimming in those canals y'all got down there.
I know, those canals are murky too. Those are some murky ass canals.
It's breeding that.
It's fucking weird. I noticed that too. I was like, oh, this water is, what do they call it, brackish? Like, it doesn't look right. But when we first went, like, obviously it was a little crazy doing shows in the middle of a pandemic and all this. But like, the first weekend back in Houston, we all went. It was me, Callen, and Brendan. And we were super cautious because it was the first weekend back. We hadn't been on stage in like 4 or 5, like I think it was 4 months at that point. And so we got masks on. We're being just like tight the whole Houston trip. So we were good.
Mask on while you're telling your jokes?
No, I took the mask off on stage. But like, other than that, like, we're being, even like the staff, like everybody was like separate. We were good in Houston.
And when you guys blow each other in the green room, mask off for that.
We locked the door, masks off, and that's a free for all. We get to Phoenix, and you know how it is. Now we're used to the road again, so we're getting a little loosey-goosey in Phoenix. Yep. Phoenix, where like it's fucking getting a little bit, not masks on as much.
They're like, it's done here.
We're like, oh, good. So by the time the third weekend came, we were in San Antonio during the biggest spike like ever. I was shaking hands. I was doing meet and greets by myself after the show because they're like, oh, we can't do a meet and greet. I was like, cool. And I'd walk around to like the fucking parking lot and be like, hey, like, shaking everybody's hands and shit. And like, just because because you know how it was when you were like lockdown, April, May, when you first got around people, it was a little bizarre. So like that first weekend, I was really like shell shocked. And then by the third one, it was like we're all at a big party, So
and then down there, did the crowd have their mask off? So
it got sketchy in San Antonio because everybody had their mask on, and when they would laugh, your laugh doesn't project, it muffles, so you feel like you're bombing. So like you're on there, my normal things that would hit, it would be like boom, 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 and I'd be like, oh my god, this is it. But like, and then after people would be like,
I didn't think of that.
It was so bizarre. It was terrible.
And also like their facial expressions, you kind of need to see, right? Like you need to see like smiles and people, or even if they're not, like just, you can tell by people's expressions, like they're getting you, but if they have a mask on, it's just like they're staring at you.
You need the lower face, because even myself, if I laugh, I don't laugh like super loud, but like I don't move my, like it doesn't even, it just looks like a blank stare. Plus, if you're like Asian or something, forget about it. You're just staring at them.
Or just high like me.
Yeah. Like it was kind of a nightmare. But by the time we left, so I was on a flight back to from San Antonio to Vegas.
You felt safe. Like I remember you were posting, you're like, it's good to be back, blah blah blah. Like, and you guys made me feel better, by the way, because I'm like, yeah, it's coming back. Look, they're on stage. Stevie's doing it. They're out there. Like it's gonna be soon.
We're spearheading this whole thing, and then I just remember like the flight back. It was just that morning. Me and Brendan are in the fucking. It was like out of a movie. We're in the Uber on the way to the airport, and we're both like. I don't feel fine. Like, we're just like, I don't feel right. But I'm thinking I'm hungover. I'm thinking like, I don't know, we were drinking a lot, but like, that feeling when you first feel like you're getting sick. Like everybody knows it. You just feel something, and then you're trying to deny it, and you're like, nah, I'm all right.
Especially you guys, you're really healthy, both of you. So
Yeah,
you're like in
like,
touch with your body. You knew.
like it's and so I get home, and within a matter of like, I mean, I'm talking 12 hours, all of a sudden I have like 102 fever. Like, I am just like sickest, like as sick as you can be. Like, can't be any sicker. Just like had every symptom. I had
What
headache.
does it feel like? Yeah.
It feels like a flu times 10 for me anyways. But so mine was like a flu times 10 that lasted 2 weeks. Like, it literally
like a cold flu or
like
stomach flu too?
Not a stomach flu, because like my stomach was fine. I had headache, body ache, fever, just like coughing. I couldn't breathe. Like, my breathing got really bad. Couldn't walk up and down stairs, or like stopping and wheezing and shit. And I'm in great shape. I can do that shit all day.
Yes, I said if it's gonna happen to any group of people, y'all are so healthy. You eat so clean. You, Stevie, I know you eat like so squeaky clean. So it's like, okay, this will be a good experiment to see like what it does to healthy people. You know, like healthy young people.
Turn into lab rats, you know?
Seriously. But I worried about you though because of your past.
Because I had underlying health conditions. So I had cancer 12, whenever the fuck it was. When I was like 18, I had cancer, went through chemo, radiation, the whole thing. So whenever I get sick, I always get it worse. Like, normally, like if I just get say the normal flu, I'll have it for like 5 days, where normal people can kick it in 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And so Brendan, that's like, so I got it, Brendan got it, Bryan got it. All 3 of us get it. Monday, we all fucking pop for it. We all get tested, all have it. Brendan got the hydroxychloroquine or whatever it's called.
And how does that work? If you test positive, like, do they automatically give you that, or do you kind of have to know somebody?
Got it. Like, we all had different doctors. I don't even have health insurance, so like I had like this.
So did you get the hydroxychloroquine?
I didn't get it. I didn't even try to get it. I was just kind of like, I'll figure it out. Like, I think I'll be fine. Brendan got it immediately. Bryan didn't get it, but he should have. I don't know what. Like, his doctor told him to wait a couple days, see if he needs it.
I think he said on The Fighter and the Kid he did. That was eventually how he kicked it. He said it works.
Like, I know Brendan got tested positive, took the hydroxychloroquine, and then in 2 days was fine, completely fine. Like, and then I was still dying. Like,
and also you guys did you get IVs like they did? I saw they were posting.
I got 2, and I was like, fuck, because they were like expensive. They're not cheap.
What is the theory behind that? Just it's hydrating you? Or?
I think it's hydrating you. It pumps you full of like it's like I could have gotten them in Vegas, because in Vegas there's so many, because they come to people's hotel rooms for hangovers and shit. Yeah. So
I don't know if anybody has these in your area, but like if you get corona, and just go ahead and spring for that, because that seems to help people.
Yeah, like I got I think 2 of them, and then like, but I just knew it was just like, dude, you could do anything. You're gonna be fucked up for 2 weeks. That's just like what like my mind was like telling my body.
Needed sleep and rest.
You gotta chill. And then literally, so Monday to Friday.
A lot of blowjobs from that hot porn star walking.
You can't be around anybody.
Did she get it?
Yeah. No, because I was in Vegas. She was in San Diego. I didn't see her. I went from San Antonio back to Vegas, got it, and I didn't see her the whole time. So I was just alone. Like, I had I had a balcony that like looked over on the 2nd floor. So like my friends in Vegas would come, and I just like talk to them from the balcony, like, hi. And they're like, oh, that sucks. But it was.
You can't even have anybody take care of you.
Dude, it was fucking mean, because Monday to Friday I was super sick, and then Friday night I started feeling better. And then Friday evening, I slept through the night, woke up Saturday feeling good, and I was like, oh, I kicked it. Thank God. That was a rough 5 days. Saturday night, it just came back. And then lasted another 5 or 6 days, to where like it was a 2-week Monday to the Monday after the 2. There was 2 weeks that I was just dead. I couldn't fucking do anything. It was terrible.
I was just wondering like how that all went down. If people find out they're positive, does everybody get the hydroxychloroquine? Because I went to like a free clinic and got a rapid test the other day. And that should have been on Brazzers with how deep they went. Jesus.
Yeah. Mine
I had
was
the
so
nasal
bad.
one.
Yeah.
Is that what you got too?
Yeah, I got the nasal one. And then I tested after. I tested negative whatever it is. It's you test negative for the virus and then positive for the antibodies.
Yeah.
So that's what I get now. So now I'm just good. So it's like, and now we're going to fucking Salt Lake City next weekend to do shows.
Wow.
So Wise Guys, Salt Lake City, but it's just me and
Wise
Brendan.
Guys is just still trucking along. Yeah, I'm going there with Franjola.
I forgot it was happening, and then literally yesterday, Brendan was like, "Hey, so you're yeah, these are the dates. Like, book your flight for fucking Salt Lake City." And I was like, "What? We're still doing? All right, I'm not gonna argue, but it's like, here we go."
You're gonna get a lot of questions.
I don't even know how to fucking. I didn't think it was gonna happen. It was just the last couple months. It's been like, I don't know. It's one of those things.
Well, if you guys need a host, I
think Chappelle's coming.
What?
I think Chappelle's coming. Lacey.
Oh, Chappelle Lacey.
Yeah. I like kind of normally Chappelle's been going with Brendan everywhere, and I kind of like didn't force my way, but I was kind of like, come on. Like,
yeah.
I gotta do something. I can't just do porn. I gotta do stand-up once in a while before I fall into the full-time porn star role, which I think will happen because we don't know when we're going back. We don't know when the road's going to be a thing, and I'm not doing
2021.
Yeah,
that's why I started this. You're not what?
Would you do a drive-in show like they're doing, like Bert and Eliza are doing? I would never.
Nikki's doing some as well. Yeah, if they're on the West Coast, I'll probably end up doing some with Glazer, but they're all East Coast so far. But
yeah,
that looks fun to me. I would.
I feel like
they
it looks
look
like
rock stars. They project it on like a big screen and everything.
But like everybody I see doing them, like Eliza, Bert, like all that, like they're very like they're kind of like they're physical. They're moving around. I don't think my comedy would translate at all in a fucking drive-through because I'm very like monotone kind of. I don't move around much.
Right. You're a storyteller.
Yeah, like I feel like people fall asleep in their fucking car if they're all reclined in their seat.
Stevie, your stories are too good though. They're way too good.
I feel like there's because that's what I don't like about theaters is the distance between you and people till you really feel them. And if I'm up there and people are in their cars and it's like you're speaking to a fucking windshield and
there's
they have
be distance like Wise Guys. They're doing 12 feet from the audience.
No shit.
Yeah, it's really far. But
now I don't want to go anymore.
It makes you feel safe as the comic, but you already feel safe because you have the antibodies. But I mean, did anybody that you fist bumped reach out from San Antonio and be like, "I'm right there with you, bro"?
Somebody left in one of my comments. It's like a dope picture too in Arizona. And like, it's a picture of me in Arizona on the stage, and somebody was like, "Hey, I got COVID at the show." They're literally like, I went home, and then 3 days later felt sick. I'd been quarantining for weeks, and then I got COVID at your show. I was like, well, it wasn't for me at the time; it was somebody else. But it's like,
did he survive? Is that confirmed?
Yeah, he's fine. I talked to him; he's fine.
Because we all know you're great, and like we know that you killed, but we just like hope that you didn't kill. You know, like, we really.
But that's what you got to think of is as a like you're responsible, not just for like you being safe, like you're bringing people together. So it's like you got to like take that on you because we weren't really taking that into consideration. The San Antonio shows, and it was more about like selfishly, like about us being safe. But it's like we're the reason 400 people are coming into this room, and like
right.
You don't realize
think of it like that.
You don't think of it like that till you're sick, and then you're like, I don't want to get anybody sick like this. It fucking sucks. So it's like, I felt bad, but like at the end of the day too, like I don't know what we could have done differently besides not do the shows. You know, it's like it's how
weird.
It was.
Like I am really itching to get out there, and not, you know, people are probably gonna knock me if I go do Wise Guys or whatever, but like I don't want to suck. I don't want to wait so long that I start to suck at comedy. This is a muscle that you got to work, and then these like little Zoom shows are not doing it. Okay,
I couldn't do that. I will not. This is the most I'll do on Zoom is like a podcast with like one, maybe other two people, but like the fucking 5 people podcast and shit, just a bunch of people screaming at their phone. I'm like, I can't do this. Yeah, I can't do it. You'll be fine though. Once you go back, it's like anything else. Like at first you're super nervous, and then 3 minutes in, you're just like, all right. Then you start dropping little new shit you've been writing, and it's just like, oh, I'm back. You're back. It's fine. Like, but it's
Do you
still
have a lot of material about Corvid?
I got more new porn stuff than anything. It's like but the
you got
porn
a whole
stuff,
new industry to talk about now.
But it's fun. Like, so like, you know, my old, like when I first started doing comedy, all my stuff was like about cancer and prison. And so like I could like, it's crazy. It's not, I mean, I see it now, but like cancer, prison, I can make so funny and people like hop on board. When I start talking about porn now, the pullback from the audience is like
what do you think that's about?
It's just because it's, at the end of the day, it's still not like fully accepted. Like it is, it's part of, but it's still a taboo thing, and it's always going to be a taboo thing. In the places
where you're playing these shows, it's like the Midwest, or like it's not like it's always LA, New York, where they're open-minded. I can see that, I guess, but I mean, I hope that you humanize it, like humanize sex.
That's what I'm trying to do. But it's like I'm just like, oh, I killed with cancer and prison shit. I'm just gonna hop right back into it, and I just would hit them with it, and then they were just like, no, like they were just not on board. Where I had to rewrite.
It's like it's almost like is this guy's life for real? Like, I don't even believe. Okay, at this point, you're in porn. Like, maybe that's when they just fall off, and they're like, all right, well, this guy's just fucking.
No, one dude told me, he was like, I was on board. He's like, the cancer, the prison, all this shit. He's like, and then when you start talking about porn, in my head, I was like, oh, so he's got a big dick too? Like, fuck him. And so it was like, he's like, too many things. I was like, I get it though. But I just got to like weave it in there much more gradual to where I was just hitting them with it. Like I just do other things, or I think I figured it out now, but that's something you can't get on your own. Like you have to be in front of audiences doing shows, and that's how important shows are to us as comics. Like because you need that.
That's the barometer, yeah.
Like you need that thing, because I would have never figured that out. I would have just fucking wrote something in my house and then had the whole thing, and then I would have went to go into it, hit a wall, and been fucked. Yeah. I just would have been like, oh no, I'm like scared the rest of the time.
That's a really good feedback. Now, I know you keep up with a lot of your boys in prison. You like write letters to them, which is so cute. Letter writing is a lost art, and I love that you still do it. So how do they handle like the Corona situation? Is anybody getting freed from this? Because I would be stoked if I was in prison. Like, come on, release.
I had a good one of my good buddies. He was doing 22 years for it was a drug charge. He was 15 in, so he had about 3 left, and he got out in, I think it was April. So he just got out.
Yeah.
He got home like 3 years and change earlier. Didn't even know. They just kind of like did this mass exodus of nonviolent drug crimes. And it was literally like, he was just in his cell, and then they were like, there's cabs outside. Get in a cab. You go into your mother's house. And
that was like, a good day.
Yeah. But
that was a damn good day.
Being locked up for 15 years, and they're like, all right, you're ready to go. And he's just like, Jesus Christ. And they just did this whole wave, and they didn't put much out in the media about it. Like they did some stuff about like, because he was in federal prison.
They probably want to keep that under wraps.
Yeah, they're just like, all right, like the federal inmates, they were just like, all right, you're nonviolent, you can get out of here. And then everybody was all hung up on these state prison things where people like spitting in cups and shit like that, giving it to each other. And it's like, fucking A.
What was that? I didn't hear about that. They're trying to pass it around?
Yeah, like somebody tested positive for it, and they spit in a cup, and then like they're passing the spit around the whole jail, trying to get everybody infected so they could go home. It's like, God damn. But I mean, I'll take 2 weeks of being sick over staying in jail for 3 years any day. You know?
How long were you in federal prison?
5 years. So I was there 2010 to end of 14. So.
And he didn't do it. No, I'm just kidding. You did.
I did it. Yeah, I did all the things.
He served his nickel.
Yeah, did a nickel, got out, met Callen and Brendan and Rogan.
God.
Yeah. It's been a ride.
It's so terrible what's happening to our friend right now. It's
know.
Just like
I don't know what people want me to say about it, because like obviously he's one of my best friends, and he's like my dad. And like, I'm like, what do you want me to say? You know, I'm going to defend him that I think it's so ridiculous. I gave I don't know if you read the whole article. Like I gave my statements to the LA Times.
Yeah.
And then it's not like I gave a statement being like, he would never do that. He's just, which obviously that's how I feel, obviously. Like he'd never do that. It's not his character. But like, I was there. For that fourth one in Philadelphia. Like, I was there next to him the whole night. And so like, that's why I felt like I had to like give my statement to the LA Times. I was like, listen, I was there. I witnessed it. Like, fucking, we're together the whole night. This chick came there asking for $2,500 to fight, to get a lawyer to get her kids back because she lost it in a custody battle or something. It's like that right there. Like when the mom loses the kids and gives it to the dad, it's usually a red flag. I don't know.
Right.
It's like getting a domestic violence call and they arrest the chick. That never happens. You know?
Yeah.
Like the dude always gets in trouble. So she wanted money. Callen was like, no, I can't give you money. But he was still like being nice to her. Just like, oh, let's just, get something to eat. Let's hang out. Drives us back to the hotel. And when we get out, and we leave and we just go back up to the Airbnb, which we were sharing and we only had one key to. So we had to go on the thing together. So like, it was just such a non-story that the fact that like, and I'm telling the LA Times this and all they say
did not say all that, did they?
They just go like fucking up. He said he was never alone with her and he was an ex-con and he was in federal prison. And I was like,
gotta throw that in.
What does that have to do with anything? Like, but like, I feel like I was fucking there. It's not like my opinion on things. I'm like, this was the night. This is what happened. And you're saying this, and this didn't happen. Like, what is the argument here? And it's just like,
that is such a red flag to show up at a comedy club asking the headliner for $2,500. Like, what
to get your kids back. And then I don't know if she was salty about that. And then she like, I don't know. Like, it's just but to be in that, and she drove like 2.5 hours to get there too. Like, she lived far away. So like the fact that like all the like, she was on a mission of some kind. It wasn't like they ran into each other. It was just the whole thing. And then nobody wants to see that angle. They're just like, oh yeah, Callen's a scumbag. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, sadly, these are the stories you won't hear. It's just all conjecture.
And I tried to. I told them, and then that article was just so slanted in one way that even his witness to the whole thing. All of them have
been. I mean, the LA Times is like a step above Us Weekly at this point.
But that's why I don't think it's not. Like when it came out Friday, you know how it was Friday. Everybody was like, dude, I was like,
it was a big day.
Like, I was like, this is, no matter what, like how innocent you are, this just looks so bad. But I didn't know because that was
just your connection to it.
Yeah, like I know, and I'm in there. My real name's in there. Like it's just like I'm surprised they didn't call me a porn star too, just to discredit me even more.
Well, the Brazzers video doesn't come out until tomorrow, so they didn't really. They hadn't called wind of it.
They but like I couldn't believe the positive feedback that he's still getting like today. Like everybody's like, fuck this. This is like, not everybody, but I mean, there's way more than I thought that are realizing how ridiculous the article is than jumping on board, being like, fuck that.
Community of people that have known this man for decades and the behavior just doesn't fit,
And it's like you said, decade. Like he's 53 years old. It's not like he's 25 and a new just bopping around LA. Like he's been around for a long time
and has a great reputation as being like maybe he's a ladies' man, but he's not like, he's an upstanding guy as a father. He helps a lot of people. He mentors a lot of people within our community. He's like with you. I mean, like if he believes in you, he nurtures that talent. Like it's a sad thing to see somebody that I know only to be a good person in my experience with him to be going through this. And furthermore, as a comedian, with maybe a past. No, like we all do. That's why we're fucking comics. We never claim to be saints. Right?
Like you can't do what we do if you're normal. Like who in their right mind wants to do this?
The reason why all this stuff bothers me with the LA Times, with the D'Elia situation and this, is that I have a problem with the newspaper saying Bryan Callen'S said, and it's in quotes, Okay? All that crazy shit. And it's like, no,
but
he didn't.
He didn't say that.
She
Somebody
said that he said that. And you, a newspaper who's supposed to be a reputable news source, took that and ran with it as if it was just facts.
I know.
These words were not recorded, or I mean, are we gonna have to live in a world where like we wear little cameras on our chest?
Yeah, like
that's what these girls that do this are pushing us towards. We literally might have to go there because you can't, you
can't quote somebody when he didn't say it, and you don't have any recording of him saying it or text
horrible
him.
Because he's a daughter that one day is going to get on the internet and Google her dad's name and read those words, and those words are not words that your and my friend would say to somebody and like rape them. Like when people throw around the R word, it's like, this is a major word.
It's like the word. It's like one of the words. Like when you're accusing somebody, like rape. Like
I had a whole thing with the D'Elia article too, where it's like the word assault was used so much in that article, but if you read each little paragraph ended with D'Elia never met so and so. D'Elia never met so and so. He never met so. So I was like, wait a second.
It's like,
how can you assault somebody you've never met?
One girl was literally like, for D'Elia was like, I went to his his hotel and I didn't want to go upstairs, so I left. And I'm like, that's not a story.
Yeah.
Like, what are you like? What are you? Okay. Like.
Yeah, and then she goes. She said it started with like whenever I was 21 years old or something, and Sam Tripoli retweeted it and was like, I quit reading at the part where it said when I was 21 years old. Like, what are you fucking doing?
I mean, I just don't understand how people hopped on. I don't know if because Callen put out a statement. I don't know if you've seen that, like on his Instagram.
Yes, and it's very detailed, and I like that he like is like, no, I want you to see my face.
Personal, like you see him where like D'Elia did the opposite route, and D'Elia just kind of. But I don't think D'Elia even meant for. I don't know these things. I'm just guessing. I don't think D'Elia was going to be as big as. I don't think he thought it was going to be as big of a thing as it was. I think it started to come out, and then he kind of like sat back and was like, this isn't even going to, like, I don't think it's going to be that big. And then it kind of went boof. And then I think his team, his lawyers were like, you're not saying anything. And I think all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's months and you don't hear from him. And I think he's just kind of like, where Callen was like right on it. It came out and he was like, I'm fucking doing this.
Because that's who he is. He doesn't have anything to hide. That's what you do when you don't have anything to hide. And I bet that his PR and his agents and everybody didn't want him to do that. He said he was going to do an episode of Fighter and the Kid last Saturday night. He ended up not doing it. I can only guess.
I know. I don't know what happened with that. I think that was more
like his people were like, no, shut this down. Like, we were ready. I was like, Saturday night. I was like, where is it? I was looking.
2 minutes. Well, at that point, if you let him, I mean, it's like anything else. It's like being the defense attorneys almost never have their clients take the stand like in like a trial, because you'll just talk yourself into trouble even if you're trying to profess your innocence. Like they'll be like, whoa. So it's like him doing a 2-hour podcast talking about it. He could talk, I don't know, but you could just spin it in weird ways with things where like a 3-minute Instagram video, it's like bang, bang, bang. Like that's all you need. That's all you need.
It really angers me about this girl that you met too, though, because it's like her fucking plan is going according to plan.
Yeah, it's like
she had this emotion from the jump. It seems.
Yeah, I feel like it was just like planned in that, and she's a comic too, which is like. Now that other comics see this, it's just like the stage time thing and this and that. And like, it's just like, it just puts another wrinkle in it where it's like, so now it's like in the comedy community, like, does she have her friends who aren't going to like these friends? And it's just like, team thing. And it's just like, we're all comics, man. Like comedians are all fucking fucked up people, but like we could coexist so easily because we all see the world through the same weird little lens in some de facto way. But like now it's just like it separates everybody. Now everybody's just fuck him, blah, blah, blah. It's like Here we go.
And by the way, there's so much drama in an industry that doesn't exist right now.
I know.
Really,
I
you know
know.
what I
Like, what
mean?
are we
Like,
yelling about?
what are we doing? Because our little like clique isn't even. This is the thing too. Like, if it were okay, if the Comedy Store were open and you had to pass people in the hall right now, I think there'd be a lot of less people slinging mud. And it's really shitty that because everybody's at home now in quarantine, there's a lot of comics like hiding behind their Twitter, hiding behind their, and this is not my original point. This is what Sam Tripoli said, and it made me think like that is true.
Yeah.
Chris D'Elia single-handedly put money into all these people's pockets because guess what? People weren't going to the Comedy Store to see.
They were filling the Comedy Store to see.
There was a point when that man was filling the Comedy Store, and it's just really shitty that like before any facts are out, people that directly made money off of this man are going to turn around and be like, oh, ha, 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 and throw under the bus. And it's like, no. Like, and what I put out a video and what I found is I got a lot of his fans like being very positive. He has a huge fan base. And guess what? They were not canceling him. It was the comedians that were so quick to cancel him. The fans are like, whoa, let's hear the whole story. Like, this is our dude. That doesn't sound like him.
And those comedians that were canceling him, like nobody's going to see them at the store. Like nobody's packing the store to see you. So it's like, if you don't have any accountability now, because it's like you're the original trolls on the internet, just like saying stuff. You don't have to see anybody face to face.
And I don't like women bitching about, oh, well, there's only one woman on the lineup or two. It's like the Comedy Store is going to put the funniest people on the lineup. That's it. If that means one or two women, sorry, but Nikki Glazer's able to do it. Eliza's able to do it. Annie Letterman's able to do it. Like, so sorry. Like, they shouldn't go, well, we need to get 4 girls and 4 boys. Like, when we start doing all that, I don't want to do comedy in that fucking world.
And those, like, somebody like Eliza was around the Comedy Store, like, the dark days, like, when it was super, like, aggressive with guys.
When
just,
she
like,
probably was the only female in the lineup.
So now people are complaining. She's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's so much better now than it was back then. But now it's just, like, you can't win now. Like, now you can't win. It's just, is it even going to be a thing? That's, like, the other elephant in the room. It's like, fucking if 2021, like who knows after this election, after all the bullshit we're about to go through, like
what are we even trying to get at, Stevie? Like, so you and I are just trying to become a big enough level that we can be canceled someday? Because they take down the most successful comedians. They're trying to figure out a way to take down Rogan, and everybody's like, oh, that's next, and it's like, what is this fucking pitchfork society?
That's why I don't know where you go. That's why it's like, I'm so glad I have this porn stuff. Because like I literally.
Who would think that porn is actually the less dysfunctional industry?
Like that's what I feel like. I feel like the most I hang out basically all the close people in my life are comics, criminals, and porn stars. And by far the most fucked up people are the comics, like out of those 3, by far. And the most normal are porn stars. So it's like this thing this dichotomy that you kind of like think one way, and I'm like, oh wait, okay, I've been surrounded by the biggest maniacs, these comics, for years. I need to really.
You're making love to your girlfriend on camera. That's a beautiful. Like this is you guys are in love. This is fucking, we can just watch Brazzers and see this hot new couple fucking trying it out, like trying new shit.
There's a sex swing involved in this one tomorrow and everything.
2 houses, 2 locales. All right, you want to plug those Wise Guys dates?
So we got myself, Brendan Schaub, Chappelle Lacey, the August 13th, 14th, 15th, Wise Guys. I think we're doing 2 shows each night because you got to make up for the not selling out or like 50% capacity, which is like that Thursday. You know how the weekends are. Normally you fly in and you do a Thursday and there's one show and it's kind of like an easy fluff day. When you fly in and do 2 shows, it fucks things up. Like, you're tired.
Are you guys doing radio too on Friday?
No, I don't think we're doing
early radio.
I don't. If they do, Brendan's doing that alone, and I'll be snoozing. Like, I don't think you have to, because I think the capacity for selling out, it's only I think it's at 50% or whatever it is. So it's like, you don't get to promote the thing that much. It's going to sell out, so that's why you have to do extra shows to try to make some money.
Will you get tested again before you go?
I don't think I have to, because I have the antibodies and stuff.
You're good to go.
I'm good to go. Like, I got to get tested for like chlamydia. That's about it, though. You know?
Every 14 days now that you're in there. No, but it's your girl.
Well, that's a funny thing too. They make us, even though she's my girl and like we haven't hooked up with anybody else, they make you submit a STD test with each video. Every time you shoot a video that's going out there, you have to attach a test to it that you're both clean.
Oh,
basically.
That's interesting.
So we get tested all the time, like all the time. So
isn't that nice to know, everybody?
That's another thing. Like, the cleanest people I know are porn stars. People talk shit like
consensual. He's blasting antibodies all over her face.
Yeah. Seriously.
Oh, wait, that was just the video you sent me. But
yeah. I know, I've sent you a few. I'm sorry.
We love it. We love it. Keep them coming.
Look at this.
Y'all, okay, Stevie Blue Eyes, where can we find you? Everybody go follow this man.
Yeah, Instagram, Stevie Blue. I have 2 Twitters. So I have a porn Twitter and a comedy Twitter. And they're both like the same name. And Brazzers fucked up and they tagged my comedy one in the porn one that's coming out tomorrow. But I didn't even tell them. I was just like, whatever.
Hey, you'll get some new fans out of it. Yeah, this guy's got stories.
So like, they're all like, I was like, I'll keep my Twitter separate. That lasted like a month. And now I'm like, all right, well, here we go.
Follow Stevie Blue Eyes. Follow him on Twitter. Get the new Brazzers video.
Tomorrow, what is it, August 6th, it drops. So you will see me, all of me.
Yeah, and then Wise Guys, go check them out if you're in Salt Lake City.
I don't know but the other dates, I don't think there's any more dates on the books right now, just because what Callen'S going through, and then the different the restrictions. I think
he's gonna have an open schedule.
Yeah, like I'm doing comedy next week. God damn.
No more Fighter and the Kids. So I guess you guys will just have to watch here for the hang.
Right? I'll be back every week now. Like, hey.
Give us a check-in. I want you to come back Rona free. No fist bumping. Wear a mask if you see this man.
I'll keep you updated. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, babe. Bye.
Bye.